Thank you very much, Sheikh Kareem.
My pleasure.
And indeed, reflection about hellfire and about Jannah is very powerful. Thank you for also sharing uh, the insights of Alamak al-Tabai and adding an
My
explanation and
pleasure.
expansion. We have a question, we have a few questions. So we'll start with the first one we got here on the chat. If the spiritually advanced human has attained the station of being beyond being fearful or seeking rewards, then they won't be interested in fruits and silk dresses in heaven. Either way, they are beyond normal wants, as you explained. I don't know if that's a comment or a question. It seems like a question. So then the question would be, what would be the significance of those things that are explained also in Surah Al-Rahman? In
Yeah,
Surah Al-Rahman, we're saying is for those who are at a higher level, yet we are talking about things that they may not seem to be interested in.
yeah. Number one, even those who are very sincere and they only worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of his own wajh, seeking his face, it's not that they are not going to heaven, and it's not that they are not going to enjoy the blessings of heaven. So they are going to heaven, but their heaven is higher. And as some people have said, part of it can be a spiritual. Definitely, of course, is a spiritual, but whether this refers to that is the question. So they will have fruits, they will have the drinks, they will have good spouse, but it's not stopping there. It's very important to encourage people to move towards that by saying that you can get these things, but there is something more you can get. If you say you don't get this, or forget these things, and you only get something higher, people who have not reached that level, they may lose interest, or they may think they have to do great sacrifice. So it seems that Quran wants to say that those things that everyone desires are available, but you should aim at something higher. Okay, like for example, someone wants to go to Jose. If he's not very interested in knowledge, the first question is, do I get accommodation, do I get food, if I become ill, what happens? Okay, these are good questions, no problem. We can answer those questions, but aim at something higher. Ask, who are the teachers, what subjects are taught, how much you can learn. So we answer both questions, because this person who is trying to reach that level, now his mind is preoccupied with these things as well. So we shouldn't keep him wandering. So give him what he thinks now and needs to know now, but tell him there is more.
Thank you very much, Sheikh
May Allah
Kareem.
bless you.
We have another question that we have received, and the question is as follows. Um, I will read it because it has a background, and inshallah I will try to share the idea. It's a comparison between the Christian idea of Jesus dying on the cross and being ready to do these great sacrifices that he did on the cross and the sufferings that he did. And the idea is that he did this so that people can be freed from their sin, or so that they can be cleared from their sin. So, and this is a show of great love, and that's something very important for the way they understand what Jesus Christ did, and the religion. If we compare that with Imam Hussein, here the question is, Imam Hussein, as we know from the story of Karbala, did not right away. It wasn't all about being martyred and having a one-shot martyrdom and many people being killed all at once and shahada and this type of thing, but rather it was something that was gradual, So he would always talk to them, he would try to dissuade them, explain to them, try to guide them. And then also the people who stood before in battle were almost, they're not all at once, but they were one by one. Almost that there's an idea that each of these people were basically standing in front of the others and taking the stance and even shedding their blood with the hope that the other side would wake up, or some of them would wake up and some of them would understand and not get to the point of killing Imam Hussein. So, but ultimately this all happened, and this shows, person is reading this as an understanding to show that we take from this that we should go to these extreme ends, to these ultimate ends, in order to guide the other. And this other here is not only very good people, but it's the very people that are trying to kill Imam Hussein, the very people that are actually trying to do this crime towards him. So therefore, we should be very, very ready. We should learn from our Imam that, even people who we should be very ready to sacrifice to such great extents, even to those people that are normally would not be ready to make that type of sacrifice. Is this a correct understanding, or is this not a correct understanding? This was, well, where? How can we do the correct comparison, maybe between the two personages and the two ideas?
So, in the fourth session of spiritual dimension of mourning for Imam Hussein, I referred briefly to this idea. The way that some of our Christian friends, have explained, maybe there are different interpretations among them, but the way that some of them have understood and explained is that we all suffer from the original sin. So because of sin of Adam alayhi salam, all human beings are suffering, and it has affected us in different ways. Even it has affected our intellect, and now we need a redemption from that sin. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by sending his son or himself, in the form of the son, and going through this great sacrifice, is redeeming us from that sin. And then the question is, this is the main question, how we benefit from this. So some people say, by being a Christian, by being baptized and being a Christian, then you will benefit. Some people say it's more than just being Christian. Maybe other people also can be saved through Jesus, even if they are not Christians. But then they vary about the role of the action. Is everyone going to be saved? For example, Christian, even if you say Christian, you have to having Christian faith. Every Christian is going to be saved, or those who follow the example of Jesus, those who live a life of piety. So this is the main challenge that needs to be explained. So similar to that, Ayatollah Mutahari also in some of his books, say, is the idea of some people that say, because of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his sacrifice, if you shed some tear for him, or if you do azah for him, or if you visit his shrine, for example, then no sin is going to harm. All the sins will be forgiven. You don't need to worry about your sins. As if Imam's sacrifice has saved us from the previous problems. Of course, we don't believe in the concept of original sin in that sense. We don't believe that we are affected negatively by that. Yes, we are affected by the fact that we are on the earth, but we are not affected in our understanding or aql. But all the sins afterwards are forgiven. And Ayatollah Mutahari says this is very dangerous. This will make you feel, careless. That's okay. I do just azah for Imam Hussein, and my sins will be forgiven. Or I don't say salat, I don't fast, etc. My sins will be forgiven. The right and the balanced position is that yes, Imam Hussein did great offering, great sacrifice, but you need to follow him. You need to be a pious person to benefit from this. But those who are sinful can have hope that if they honestly try to resemble Imam and not to resemble Yazid and have a Yazidi lifestyle, if they want to get closer to Imam and his lifestyle, this connection with Imam Hussein will help them with tawbah and with forgiveness. So this very subtle point in the course on misunderstanding and misrepresentations about Imam Hussein, I explained Ayatollah Mutahari's point, but I have added this point also. Those who are interested, please refer to that course we had in Stanmore. I think there were 4 sessions about misunderstandings, and in one session we discussed this. So I say a sinful person can benefit from Imam Hussein alayhi salam's musibah, but not by insisting on his sins. A sinful person who feels weak and whose iman is not strong, but he wants to come out of the sins, attraction of Imam Hussein and his suffering can help. But if you don't want to change and you say, I'm happy with my lifestyle, I just want to be forgiven, to want to cheat, this is not going to work. So what Christians say about sacrifice and passion of Jesus, according to the way which is normally explained, has this issue that you may become careless, or you may say my actions are just to have a better position, otherwise I am automatically saved. If they don't believe in this, that's great, so therefore I am very hesitant to say all the Christians believe like this, although this seems to be a common narrative. But I know there are lots of details, even between Catholics and Lutherans, for example. There have been many years of discussion about the role of grace in faith, etc. So therefore I don't want to attribute anything to Christianity, but I'm just saying that if this is the position, then it's different from our scholarly understanding of Imam Hussein's role and how we can benefit from him. But our awam sometimes may have this similar understanding.
Inshallah, very interesting question and very beautiful response. Inshallah, we can follow up if there's any aspects that are still not addressed.
Maybe you could share the link for that series on Ashura. Yes, please. Yeah. There are 4 lectures. Of course, there are Q&A sessions which I have not yet made public, but the main lectures I made them public.